Welcome to Beyond by Wings, the business side of dentistry, brought to you by Edwards and Associates PC. Join us as we discuss how to build your dental practice, optimize your income, and plan for your future. This podcast is distributed with the understanding that Edwards and Associates PC is not rendering legal, accounting, or professional advice. Listeners should consult with their business advisors before acting on any of the information that is shared. At Edwards and Associates PC, our business is the business of dentistry. For help or more information, visit our website at eandassociates.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond by Wings. My name is Ash, and in today's episode, we have a very special guest. His name is Dustin Long, and he is with Big Sky Construction. Specializing in the medical field, dental field. He has many years, multiple decades of experience in construction in other parts of the United States, but his company is currently trying to penetrate the market in the DFW. We had the opportunity to meet him at the SWDC convention, and he had a lot of interesting things to say, and we decided to have him on this episode so he could share more with our listeners. So without further ado, Dustin, how are you?
Ash, thank you for the introduction. I'm excited to be here. This has been a great show. And yes, my name is Dustin Long with Big Sky. We've been building construction for many decades here in DFW. I also have a company in the Pacific Northwest. The last 10 years, we've built over 300 dental offices.
Wow, that's amazing.
In 10 years, yeah. So we've got a lot of dental experience. We've seen the goods, we've seen the bads, we've seen struggles, we've gotten through challenges, and that's what it's all about. It's about connecting with our clients.
Right.
It's about building relationship, creating teams that can get us from point A to point B as seamless, as smooth, and as enjoyable as possible. That's
Right.
one thing that we really strive to do is provide our clients with an experience. You know, a lot of contractors are out there. They'll tell you, listen, there's three things that a client can have, but you can only pick two. They'll tell you can have cost, you can have schedule, or you can get quality. So pick two of the three. Big Sky, we actually give you not only all three, we're going to give you a fourth. We're going to give you that experience.
Wow.
We want our clients, because they're not going to do this too many times in their career. Most of our clients are only going to do this 1, 2, maybe 3 times.
Right.
So why not make sure that this experience for them is enjoyable, is fun? Construction is a lot of fun. Seeing the different milestones, seeing it from where it's a bare raw space to framing and wiring and all this piping, and then you start putting these beautiful finishes to it. It's a storytelling that we do in 12 weeks. It happens so quick.
Wow, that's
from the
fast.
time we start to the time they're starting to see patients or moving in, it's 12 to 14 weeks. So in a blink of an eye, it happens.
Wow.
And I'm very passionate about what we do because, first of all, I love it. I'm a people pleaser, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when you're so passionate and have fun doing what you do, you end up being one of the best doing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can feel this energy coming off of you. Honestly, I don't think I've felt that way towards construction, but you're making me a believer. I'm like, oh yeah, there's storytelling in construction too.
Yes,
And
100%.
You know, as you're saying this, I'm also thinking, I'm like, you're right. You know, there are a lot of our clients that are doing this for the first time, and it's a scary process for them, right?
Oh, for sure.
And then, of course, the costs associated with it, and then let's not forget about the giant student loan that they have.
Yes.
And then, you know, they're constantly questioning themselves, hey, was this a smart move? Should I open up this practice, or should I have just stayed as an associate? But then, you know, working with people like you, I think it helps calm their nerves.
Oh, 100%. You know, I can't tell you how many clients have said that very same thing.
Really?
God,
Okay.
you know what? I'm so scared. I don't know if I should be doing this. Ash, I got to tell you, with over 300 clients,
Yeah.
every single one of them has been a success.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, we have clients now that are coming back to us and saying, hey, I want that second location. Or, hey, I have outgrown the one you originally built for us. I need a bigger practice. I have not yet met a client that did not succeed.
Wow.
But you know what? What dentists have that I love about dentists, they've got that entrepreneurial spirit.
They do.
What they need and what we show them is you're great at what you do. Make sure to bring in the specialist. Surround yourself with the people
That's right.
that are the best at what they do to get you to the point where you can do what you do best, and that's dentistry. So that's where we really excel, is we bring that team of trusted advisors to the client so that we can get them into that beautiful or awesome or clean or whatever the client's goals are, so that they can do what they do best, and that's dentistry.
Right. That's true.
And not just construction. So the storytelling, while the part of construction, seeing the different phases and the milestones, that's the story I love most. There's also a huge backstory, a build-up before you get to that point.
That's right.
You've got to build this practice on paper first.
Sure.
And there's so much that goes into it. As a matter of fact, most of our clients are working with us 6 to 9 months before we start construction.
Okay, that's good you mentioned that.
We're looking at the spaces. We're working with the CPAs. We're working with the attorneys. We're working with designers. All these other entities involved in the early process to make sure that when we get to the build, the money's dialed in. The client is confident and secure with that decision at that point, so that it's just, again, that smooth, enjoyable experience.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because oftentimes, listeners or even clients, they hear like, 14 to 16 weeks, and then they plan around that timeline. But that's really for the build out.
Yes, it is.
Right. But then it takes some time, and as you just mentioned, and maybe elaborate a little bit on that. So what do you mean by 6 to 9 months? What needs to happen in that time?
Great question. This is where we help to try calm those nerves in the client, because there's so many balls being juggled at once. That initial 6 to 9 months, we're working with a real estate broker. We're finding the right space. We're making sure that we're catching any red flags with regards to those spaces, because we can build a dental office anywhere. I can build a dental office on the roof of a high rise. It's understanding the space that we're putting that dental office in. So then we're working with the trusted advisors to say, hey, there's a couple things with this space that we need to be aware of.
Right.
There's a couple things that could be adding cost to your budget that we should go and leverage the landlord and ask for more money, ask for more free rent.
Right.
So we're doing that on the very early stages. Once we've gotten through that process and we understand what we're walking into or what we're going to be building into, we then start the process of designing the space. Hey, Doc, what do you want? How many operatories?
That's right.
Do you, and not only today, but in the future.
That's true.
Some clients will come to us and be like, listen, I just want to keep it easy. I want 5, 6 ops.
Right.
It's just going to be me and a couple hygiene, and I want to live a great, simple life. Right. Awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Some docs are like, well, no, I want to start. We've got a startup right now, as a matter of fact. We just met yesterday who's saying, listen, I want 10 ops. I'm a startup. That's a big practice. That's very
ambitious.
That's very ambitious for a startup. But his goals are having associates, having multiple hygiene. He wants to do restorative and other heavier cases in-house. So understanding all those goals, not just today's goals, but his future goals, so that we can start incorporating that into a floor plan.
That's true.
So when we take all of that information and we start designing the flow or the test fit, the initial picture of what that practice looks like, showing the layout.
Right.
How many people do you want to check in, check out?
That's true.
Are you going to have 1 designated, 2, 3?
That's true.
Showing all the operatories, talking about the infrastructure. Do you want nitrous? We got to carve out a closet for the medical gases. Right. So we start nailing down all the nuts and bolts of what this practice is going to entail, and then we create a floor plan. Yeah. A couple tweaks later, we've now got the practice, a visual look at what this practice looks like. From there, then we start the fun part that the clients really love, and that's designing.
Yes.
Colors. What's it like?
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, again, over 300 practices in 10 years, none of which look the same. What's cool is I love walking into a finished space because I've been working with this client for so long.
That's true.
And then we're high-fiving each other, and you can see the client's characteristic, their personality, now shown in their practice. We've built projects. I've had clients come to me like, I want a man cave looking practice. I had a client come to me and she goes, I want my practice to look like my closet. And I'm like,
interesting.
Okay. So I had to go visit her house, look at her closet. Her practice has pink wall covering,
Okay.
curved radius, beautiful vanities, chandeliers.
Wow, an homage to her closet. That's the first one for me.
Yes. So it's really fun to get to that process, because now we're through the, okay, this is kind of scary. This is, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We're now to the point of like, oh man, okay, now we're really starting to get to know the client and what their personality is and how that practice is going to set apart to identify who that dentist is. That's really where you start seeing this beautiful energy shining from the dentist, because they start seeing it coming into reality. Now we've gotten through that process. Then we get to the actual, okay, here's the cost. Let's start talking about all the costs. Because we've got this dream now drawn up. Now we need to make sure that we are hitting your budget.
That's true.
So then we go through this process with the client to make sure that we're hitting their budget. That's one of the most critical parts before we start construction, is making sure we're all on the same page.
That's right.
And this is one thing that's great about Big Sky is, no matter what your budget, we're going to hit it.
Oh, wow.
It's not just this is a give or take. Sorry, leave it or take it. This is a massaging process of building your dream practice at the budget that you can spend. We're also looping in the equipment representatives. We're looping in the technology specialists. We're looping in all the individuals that it now requires to build this practice. And then once we've identified and nailed all of that, then we start the fun part, which was my expertise, and that's the building. The building process, and it's a beautiful thing. Walking clients, we have several milestones through the course of the project to make sure. Dentist office, so many people think, building is building. Construction's construction. Oh, I can build a dental office. Have you ever built one? No, you can't build a dental office. Dental offices are so exact. Ash, if you take an operatory and your chair is even an inch from where it's supposed to be, the doctor is now pinched. Ergonomics are out the window. The patient is having a hard time getting in. The assistant can't get out. There are so many critical measurements that if they're not nailed from day one, the clinic is screwed.
That's true. Maybe a very costly renovation later down the road.
Exactly. And it's unfortunate, and I've seen cases where clients, they thought, well, my uncle's brother has a contracting business. Now Big Sky's getting the call back because, they thought we were too expensive at that point. And they're like, man, we really messed up. We've got to saw cut concrete. We've got to do new core drills. We've got to do new finishes. So, nailing it on the first go is so important for these dentists, because while it is a costly investment to open a practice, it's so much more costly to redo a practice.
That's right. And I'm glad you actually brought this up, because that's the thing. I think with most people that are starting out, they always just look at the numbers. It's like, how do I keep it to a minimum, right? Not trying to be a cheapskate, but, I have a certain limited amount of funds, that I got approved from my lender, and I want to make sure I hit those numbers. So if I can get a cheaper quotation somewhere else, that would give me, more into my working capital. But as you just mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned this, because I've seen it happen with my clients where they went with, nothing against that construction company, but they don't specialize in dental practice, and they were cheaper. But then once it was built, here's the weird thing, like even in the measurements, I think something to do with the drywall, they didn't account for that on both sides, and it really messed up the cabinetry and the equipment. And
ouch.
And they originally was supposed to have 6 ops, and they later had to remodel it to 4 ops. And that really changed everything, because as you said, the pre-planning stage, 6 to 9 months, he was planning on, he had already sent out an agreement to his associate. He decided on what days they were going to come in, but now the number of operatories have been reduced, so he had to change, redo the whole thing, his hygiene days, and should he even bring in 2 as other associates? It was just a huge mess to fix.
Ash, think about that. I want 6. I got 4. That's upwards of $100,000 per chair lost every year. And here's another loss in opportunity that clients don't think about sometimes. We mentioned the schedule. I can build a dental office in 12 to 14 weeks. We are in and out. I've had clients come to me and say, Dustin, it took me 6 to 9 months to build my dental office because my contractor didn't know what they were doing. 6 to 9 months. We know, you dentists know what you make every month.
That's true.
How much did you just lose because of that added time? It's a bummer. But you know what? We're here to help you avoid those challenges.
That's true.
Because there are going to be challenges in construction.
That's true.
That's why we are here doing what we do. That's why we specialize in what we do.
That's true.
We provide the solutions to challenges, but there are certain challenges out there that a dentist should never experience.
Right.
But you have to surround yourself with the specialists and the experts at what they do.
Absolutely agree. I mean, one example I always give out to people is that if you're driving a fancy German car, you're not going to take it to any Joe Schmo mechanic.
Exactly.
You know, it's a specialized vehicle that requires specialized trained mechanics to work on it. So, you know, the field of dentistry, it's similar to that. So yes, initially the cost might be a little bit higher, but as Dustin just mentioned, in the long run, it's worth it. And then, you know, if it truly is finances, like this is where people like us also come into play, where we can help you figure out how to qualify for higher working capital in the lending environment. Maybe when you approach the lender yourself, they qualified you for a certain amount because they just went off of your tax returns. But then, like for instance, let's talk about Edwards and Associates. We partner up with multiple big banks, small banks, where they understand the true income of a dentist, where they know that depreciation is not a real expense and that should be added back, and your income then goes up, and that qualifies you for a higher amount. They also know that even if you have, I don't know, $500,000 in student debt, that should not affect your ability to borrow funds. And then even with the working capital, like, you know, people have these standard numbers saying, oh, you know, it typically takes 6 to 8 months for break even. So you need to have enough in payroll, you know, from the get-go, because you can't be expecting to get, you know, 20 walk-ins per day as soon as you open the doors. So you need to have that contingency fund set aside to pay for your ongoing overhead expenses. But again, with that, there are other ways where we can have you qualify for a higher amount, find ways through your accounting financials as well as lenders that are willing to work with you and truly understand what you're capable of. Lenders that will invest in you and not just, you know, the collaterals that you have to offer. So things like that. And again, just piggybacking off of what Dustin just said, like having that team of experts will allow you to realize that you may actually have more options, even in an environment where you may feel like, whoa, this is more expensive than what I thought or what my cousin told me, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
But like I said, just being, as they say, knowledge is power, right? So go out there, and it is true, like, you're not going to know everything, right? So that's when you find these trusted advisors and seek for their assistance.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, let's see. This is something I sometimes ask some of my guests on the show. Is there a story of failure that you can think of with maybe a client? And you don't have to mention names or something, or maybe it was like a disaster, but then somehow they came out of it.
You know, I've got several stories
Okay.
like that where
Pick a
Big Sky
favorite.
came in
Okay.
and was the solution.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear one.
You know, we just actually finished a project for a client where he used our counsel. We toured probably 5 or 6 different locations with him,
Okay.
helped him through the lease negotiations, designed his practice, helped him get the equipment dialed in, got the technology package all figured out. And, you know, it's quite common for a client to be, okay, we get to that point and now they're like, I need to make sure that I'm getting a good price, a good and fair price. I'm like, absolutely, 100%. So we go out to bid, and he found a contractor that was quite a bit cheaper than us. Now, unfortunately, the contractor he found had a particular reputation. And he gets to the point of almost contracting with this other contractor, and come to find out, they had missed a lot of his project. They didn't understand what medical gases were. They thought they were going to be buying copper from Home Depot. They had no idea that this particular doctor wanted sinks in all the operatories. He was also going for a very particular look where a lot of his operatories were surrounded by glass.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, apparently this contractor thought that the owner was going to do the glass himself.
Oh, goodness.
This contractor also thought that the medical gases were provided by the equipment reps who sell chairs and cabinets. So he calls me back later and is like, Dustin, I am so sorry. I had no idea, but I'm very glad that he had a CPA helped him through the vetting process.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
But
And
a
the
non-dental specific CPA, I'm assuming.
No. It was a dental specific who helped him realize this contractor, the reason they were so cheap is because they missed about 30% of the project.
Okay.
So the CPA, thank you, in this case, helped this client understand and avoid the disaster that he was about to encounter.
Oh, thank goodness.
And he looped back, came back to Big Sky and said, you were right. I would love for you to build my project.
Wow. See?
We've built the project, successful project, high fives on the way out. And he's actually one of our biggest references at this point.
Oh, goodness.
In the region that he's in.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy to hear that it happened before.
Yes.
Construction was done.
Now
That would have been a
there are
disaster.
stories where I do continuing education courses, and I've got a few PowerPoints where if you see this, you need to run. You need to you need to avoid this. And I've had a couple clients, they'll raise their hands and they're like, "Man, Dustin, I wish I would have known about this prior to the build out because I'm in that exact same situation, and what can I do at this point?" And of course, at that, we're in front of a huge group. I'm like, let's speak after this. Let's see what we can do because there are solutions. There's always solutions. But the point being, it would be awesome if we could just avoid them from day one.
That's right.
Dentists are extremely smart people.
They are, no doubt.
And they're incredible at what they do. But sometimes, and even in my case, I'm an expert at construction, but I'm not an expert at all things dental.
Putting in a crown?
Exactly. I couldn't put in a crown. I have to rely on the experts, the expert advisors. And so I just highly recommend and encourage, and this is one of the biggest points that I put across whenever I'm speaking or whenever I'm doing a continuing education course or whatever, it's listen to your trusted advisors because there are people out there that are seeking your best interest. They're like Big Sky. We want you to succeed. We are 100% word of mouth. We rely on our clients to tell their colleagues or their associates who are breaking out and wanting to start their own or their study clubs. And if you're thinking about doing something in construction or to your office, you've got to call Big Sky. So listen to your trusted advisors. That is one of the biggest points to get across here today.
Yeah, and you actually brought up a good point there. Study clubs, they are very important. Could be a very strong resource to gather all that information, especially if you feel like you're in the early stages of wanting to start or open a practice. It really helps having other professionals. 'Cause sometimes in certain study clubs, you may have someone there that was exactly where you're at now 2 years ago. And
Absolutely.
they can share their stories and tell you what to keep an eye out for and what to be aware of.
And we've spoken at numerous study clubs. They'll dedicate a night specifically to talk about, hey, let's refresh your practice, or they're looking to buy a practice, what to look out for, or they want to start a practice, or they want to buy a building. We've spoke at many study clubs in regards to those specific points to make sure that they get off on the right path for success.
That's fantastic. And I can tell already that you are very passionate about what you do and you love educating.
Yes, 100%.
So, if we have listeners that are more curious or would like to know more, would you like to share your contact information?
Absolutely.
They
You
reach out?
can call me, you can text me, you can email me. My phone number is 206-259-0936. That is my personal cell. My email is dlong, L-O-N-G, at bigskyconstruction.com. It's funny being in this industry. There are many nights that I'm working till midnight, 1 a.m., and I'm doing virtuals with our clients because you're seeing patients during the day, but they want to be in the know, and we want our clients to be engaged. Right. So we're virtually working on their project late at night. So you can call me, text me, email me almost 24/7. I got to sleep sometimes, but I am a bit of a workaholic, and I do set family time aside as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, be careful of what you're...
I've got 2 teenagers and a great family, very supportive wife. But yes, I am here to help you. I'm here to educate you. And obviously, I'm here with all the resources you would need in order to open your own practice.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on our episode today. And
Absolutely.
sharing, all the valuable information.
This was very fun. Thank you, Ash.
Thanks for listening today. Be sure to subscribe to Beyond by Wings on your favorite podcast platform. For more information, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or reach out to us on our website. You can also shoot us an email at info@eandassociates.com.